Do you feel unseen and unheard? Are you afraid to use your voice? Are you afraid that your opinion doesn't matter? Do you fear the outcome if you say what you feel? Sometimes we think it's easier just to say nothing. We're afraid of confrontation. We're afraid of reprimand. Because of trauma through childhood and our toxic relationships, we just remain quiet. We think it's easier. But it's time for us to speak up because your voice matters too. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. Due to past trauma, due to being a child, being reprimanded, told to shut up, children are seen and not heard. In relationships, told your opinion doesn't matter. Family dynamics, shut up, I can't hear the fucking television. This kind of fucking energy. And you're literally, all you do is go back into your little childlike state and you're like, every time I speak, I'm literally more or less told not to speak. And that's it. Like I was from childhood, I was the quietest little mouse you will ever see. Why? Because I was unheard as a child. You know, when you're left crying in the corner, you know, and no one hears you, you stop speaking up. You stop using your voice. You hide under that chair because it's easier. Or when you're in a relationship and every time you have an opinion, your partner says, shut up, what do you know? You're too young to know that. You know, you just end up saying, if you're told shut up over and over and over and over again, guess what happens? You just shut up. You just remain quiet. You know, and even the family dynamics I've been in, you know, and this happened even up to my early 30s. Shut up, I can't hear the fucking television. I was just like, I haven't seen you in ages, and I talk and it's like, shut up, I can't hear the television. And it's just like, okay, sorry for saying hello. This kind of stuff. And it's heartbreaking. And like this will reflect then in every area of our lives. We sit in the back of the class or we don't speak up. Like, you know, I'm doing courses lately. And like, you know, this is really weird for me because one of my biggest wounds was speaking up is... And like, you know, speaking on camera, that was so alien to me. That was a really hard step for me to get over. And, you know, obviously I own my voice on camera, but I found my quiet Angela, my inner child quietness, rear its head lately in different aspects of my life. And it's scary because it's like, it's reminding me of that pain. And I know we heal in layers, so something will resurface for us to heal. But, you know, it scares me, like, you know, I don't want to go back into my box. I don't want to be quietened again. And, you know, I find that wound coming up over and over again. Like, you know, I could say something and I could get a comment that mightn't agree with it. And, you know, everyone has their own opinion. So, like, some people aren't going to agree with what I say, and that's fair enough. But when I'm in the wounded state, it kind of comes and goes, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't share this anymore. And that voice comes into my head. You know, and I know what I'm sharing is true to me, so why would I stop that? Just because of one person's opinion. But I hear that voice in my head, my inner child's voice go, yeah, but maybe you're wrong. Maybe you shouldn't talk. And, you know, I find it, like, I do these courses, and, like, you know, it's funny because, like, it's like this yo-yo. 1 minute, I can't stop fucking talking. The next minute, I can't speak at all. It's like I'm frozen. And, you know, I do these courses on Zoom, and, you know, one of the earliest courses I was doing, I was like the fucking teacher's pet. I know I was the first one on the Zoom, so I was called to a lot. And I love talking. I love, you know, sharing my opinion. But then in other Zoom areas, I'm like, I'm just going to say nothing. I'm going to turn off my camera, and I'm just going to press mute, and I'm not going to answer any questions. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say, you know, it's fine. And then I can feel that, oh my God, I can feel it. And, you know, even lately, like, I've been going to the hairdressers, and, you know, I can feel my inner child, because I remember going to the hairdressers as a child, and I'd be so quiet. I remember the hairdresser going, she's great, she's a great child, she's very, very, very patient. And I'm just like, I'm not afraid to say anything. That's why, you know what I mean? And I feel that coming up, and I have so much to say. I talk to the shopkeeper in the shop. You know what I mean? I actually talk to everyone. So it's really weird for me when I go through episodes where I can feel my inner child kind of going, just don't say anything. And I find that in my twin flame dynamic as well. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. And it's like, I have to say something. It's fucking so important to heal this wound. And this wound doesn't just stem from childhood. It stems from past lives as well. The persecution wound, the witch wound, as I call it. You know what I mean? Like, I was literally, like, the reason we're afraid to speak up isn't just due to how we've been treated in this life. It's that remembrance of generational trauma literally reminding us that we were burned at a fucking stake when we spoke in the past. You know what I mean? So, like, there's that issue there. Like, it's like not only being told your opinion doesn't matter, not even being told to shut the fuck up. It's literally being burned at a fucking stake or murdered because you had a fucking opinion that was different to somebody else's. And that's why it's so hard for us to break out of that. And it's just, oh my God. And this is the thing with narcissistic relationships as well. Or, you know, dynamics, even family dynamics. It's literally like you are told your opinion doesn't matter. And I remember, like, with my ex, like, he was 17 years older than me and narcissistically, verbally abusive all the time. You know, we'd be in a group setting, you know, and we'd be chatting and I'd be coming in to say my bit. And he cut me off every single time, telling me I was too young to have an opinion. And, you know, literally shut me up, like. And, you know, you're eventually just going to shut the fuck up, like. You know, you're eventually going to just not talk. And that's it. And, you know, it's very hard. Like, these days, it's very hard to have anyone actually actively listen to you. And, you know, I've had to learn active listening as well. Because, you know, oftentimes we don't listen to each other. We literally are just waiting for our turn to talk. And, you know, thankfully lately now I do have people in my life that I can have a conversation with and I do feel heard. But I remember when I walked away from my family, my toxic family dynamic, I watched this movie and it still hurts me to feel this. So this girl, like this woman, she was, I think she was visiting her boyfriend's family for the first time or a friend's family or something like that. And they were all around the kitchen table and they were asking her about herself. And she started talking and she started going on and on and on. I was just like, waiting. And I was like, what am I waiting for? I was like, I'm waiting for her to be interrupted. That's what it was. I was like, oh my God, these people are interested in what she has to say. These people are listening to her. And I can feel the pain or I can feel the tears kind of come up for me to think about that. I was sitting there waiting for her to be unheard and not listened to. And the fact that she was listened to, I was like, that's such a weird concept. I was like, I've never had somebody listen to me before. I never had somebody actually actively listen to me before. As I said, thankfully now I do have people like that. But, like, you know, I literally, it was such an alien concept because every time you speak, you're interrupted or you're told to shut up. And it's just like, eventually you stay quiet. And I think oftentimes for us people who have lost our voices, that it's a very big message that we have something to say, that we have something important to say. You know, if we've lost our voice in this life, it's a connection to a past life or past lives, plural, where we've lost our voices before. You know, looking back, when were you unheard? When were you unseen? You know, and I just, even the simple thing, I remember, I've only started to remember this lately. You know, we grew up on a farm and, like, you know, I remember times that I actually used to get upset. And this was when I was a little bit older and I used to go and hide. And I used to I actually sat there for hours, you know, and just wondered to myself, you know, if I stay here for long enough, would anyone actually really look for me? And that's how I felt. You know, that's how unseen and unheard that I felt. That I was like, you know, and even like I was a child, obviously people are going to go look for a child. But I was sitting there going, no one's going to care. No one actually wants me here. And that's where, like, a lot of that that fear of speaking comes from. Because we're afraid to be rejected. We're afraid of confrontation. We're afraid of the outcome. And that's another thing. Oh my God, we walk on eggshells around people. These are the wrong fucking people. It was the same with my dad. It got to the stage where, like, when I lost myself so completely to everything, I was so quiet. Oh my God, I was shut. Sorry, it's just really, this is after, I don't know, bringing up some things for me now. But like, I'm a really eccentric, quirky person. I say random things. I make up words. I'm just fucking weird. You know, and I love that part of myself. But I just randomly say these random things and it's fun. Okay? And then I remember, like, you know, the more quieter I got, and it's so heartbreaking. When I stayed around that negative energy with my dad for too long, my true self, my loud and proud version, was literally locked into a glass box, and there was no noise. She was banging on the fucking walls and she was screaming and I couldn't hear her. I didn't know why she was in there. I didn't know. It was a family dynamic, so I was just so in denial. And she was screaming to get out and I couldn't fucking hear her. That's how quiet I'd gone. And you know, it was a couple of years of this happening, and like my dad said something that and this is what narcs do as well, they steal your fucking phrases. But like, you know, he said something that I always said, one of my quirky little phrases, and I was just like, oh my God, where the fuck am I gone? Where am I gone? And that was the moment of clarity really for me. I was like, where the fuck is Angela? She's not here anymore. And that's what happens. We lose ourselves so completely when we're told to shut up, when we're unheard. And we end up going into that glass box. And there is no way of getting that voice out because it's a soundproof box. And it's only when we find our voice again that we can break that glass. And that's it. And like, you know, I feel so much better because I can use my voice on camera now. But I can see my wounded inner child peek her head out at times and just be like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Do you know what I mean? This one thing keeps coming into my head. Don't say anything or you sound like a psycho bitch. And I'm like literally going to myself, your opinion does not make you a psycho bitch. You know what I mean? And that keeps coming back into, Jesus. I obviously have a bit of wounding around this because I could just feel the fucking emotion bubbling up here. You know what I mean? For me to say to myself, don't say anything, you're going to sound like a psycho bitch because I have an opinion and because I want to say something. That doesn't make me a psycho. That doesn't mean I'm going to be burnt at the fucking stake. And, you know, I've had dreams about this, like, where I've literally tried to use my voice, and I've had remembrances from past lives where I was persecuted for speaking, for owning my voice. And, you know, this is the thing. Witches were not really witches. Witches were women who didn't conform and didn't say, I'm going to marry that man and be a slave to him. That's what witches are. Independent women who used their fucking voices. And what were they done? They were murdered. They were ridiculed by the fucking patriarchy. Ugh. Anyway, and that's it. That's another part of it. That fucking patriarchy. You know, women shouldn't have, sorry, this is bringing up so much for me. It's like women shouldn't speak. Women shouldn't be heard. Women should do what they're fucking told. Fuck off. I'm sorry, but fuck off. Oh, Jesus, there's so much fucking shit coming up here. Like, when I do these videos, it's funny because I get downloads, obviously. But oftentimes it's collective energy. And oftentimes I'm going through this stuff at that time. So these videos are actually quite healing for me. I watch back afterwards and I'm like, Jesus, I need to hear that. You know what I mean? And it's just like, as I'm speaking right now, all this stuff is bubbling up and I'm like, oh, there's so much I have to release. And that's what it is. We need to release what's stuck within us. We need to release things so we can open up our voices, so we can speak our truth. This is it. Oh my God. Oh, for generations we've been told to shut the fuck up by fucking assholes. Sorry, but that's effectively what we have been told. And it's all fucking men. I'm sorry. I love men and women equally. I'm not against men, even though all of my abusers were men. And, you know, like, literally, it's just like, oh, this patriarchy bullshit. It's like, oh, women should be in the kitchen. You fucking don't say anything. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus, do what you're told, woman. No. I have a voice and I deserve to be heard. And this is what's so important. Oftentimes, as I was just saying a little while ago, we have a message to share. Us ones that have been put in the fucking corner and told to shut up. We're the ones that have something to share with this planet. Our voice matters more than anyone's. It really fucking does. We have to share our voice so that we can help the next person share theirs. And that's a fact. You know what I mean? And like, you know, and I go back to the camera thing, like, you know, I was so afraid to be on camera. And I really come up in my memories from this time last year. And oh my God, it was so funny. Oh my God, I just was so fucking nervous. Like, I don't use scripts and stuff, so just everything just flows out of me. I know some days I'm like, I don't know what to say. But like last year, oh my God. And it's only a fucking year ago. Literally, I'm in the camera going, so, and it's just like, oh, no. It's like, that's not even proof that I was trying to get my voice out. You know what I mean? And that's how obviously closed off my voice actually was, because I was like, swallowing every couple of minutes because I didn't know what to fucking say. I was like, it's like really trying to get blood out of a stone. I was trying to pull the words out of myself. Now they just flow. And obviously, as I said, when I'm on camera, oh my God, I can't stop talking. And when I'm with the right people, I can't stop fucking talking. But sometimes lately, as I said, I can feel this wound bubble again. And like, I really worked on my witch wound over Christmas. It was before... It was after Christmas. I think it was after Christmas that I worked on my witch wound, and it was massive. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, all my inner child has been quietened from childhood, but obviously in past relationships I've been quietened as well. But to actually remember that it was from past life persecution as well, and that was the hardest one for me to get through. But now I can see like that voicelessness is coming up on me again in certain aspects of my life. But it's coming back. Yeah, I'm fucking loud and proud again. But you know what I mean? Like, but it's really, it scares me. And like, obviously doing this video, I'm after feeling so many emotions come up right now, because there is actually aspects of my life that I really, really, really need to use my voice. And I'm afraid to. I'm afraid that if I speak up, then I'm going to lose that person, or... You know, that, as I said, keep coming into my head. If you say that, you're going to sound like a psycho bitch. Oh my God, I don't even know where those words came from. And I'm just like, oh my God, just because you have something to say, truth to say, does not make you a bad person, does not make you psycho. You know what I mean? And that's another probably an ancestral wound, is that like women who have an opinion are fucking psycho bitches. Fuck off. You know what I mean? And people are going to deem me as crazy because I am a little bit outside the box. And actually not a little bit. I burnt that fucking box. You know what I mean? There is no fucking box. You know what I mean? So I literally, I own my voice now. I'm not afraid to speak my truth. But because I still have that wounding that I need to reface again, because it's coming up for reevaluation, rehealing. There is parts of my life where I'm just noticing it again. And I'm just like, you know, I'm literally sitting here doing this video, and it's just like loud and clear that I need to speak my fucking truth. And it's that's where all that pain is coming from, is because I'm still not owning my truth, owning my voice in certain aspects of my life. So where are you walking on eggshells? Where are you afraid to speak up? And that's the thing, and it's the same with my dad as well. I was afraid to say anything in case he'd retaliate. Actually anything. The simple thing of the charger, like, it was just, I had something to say about my charger, and I know I was right about it, and I just, even just to tell him what I believed about something, I was attacked. And it's just like, oh my God, why should I talk when I'm attacked every time? And that's the reason I'm afraid to speak up. I'm afraid of retaliation. I'm afraid to rock the boat. I'm afraid that I'm going to get the same reaction I always did my whole life. And that's what the problem is. And that's where we have to ask ourselves, where are you walking on eggshells? Where are you afraid to be yourself? Where are you afraid to speak up? Where are you told your opinion doesn't matter? Because it's time to fucking speak your truth. If you've been quietened your whole life, it means you have a message. And it means that you have an important voice for this planet, for yourself, but for this planet. It's us ones that have been subdued that have more to say, because we've been through more, and we're getting to help others through our own pain. So it's time to start using our voices. It's time to speak up. It's time that we're not fucking silenced anymore by the fucking patriarchy. Sorry. Ugh. Anyway, so this is it. Don't be afraid to share. If you feel like you have something to say, fucking say it. Who gives a shit what anyone says? Not everyone's going to agree with you, but if everyone doesn't agree with you, that doesn't matter. They're not your fucking people. And if you say something and somebody does retaliate, they're not your fucking people. I've had to walk away from family because of this. And it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But I lost myself so completely, that I had to do that. And I regained my voice because of, healing from that, but I have so much more that I need to heal as well. And this video is actually going to help me do that, because I it helps me as well. But this is it. So don't be afraid to speak your truth. Your voice does matter. Your opinion matters more than anything. It really does. So it's time to stand up and just be true to yourself. Be loud and be proud. Say what you need to say. Speak your truth, and fuck what anyone else says, because your opinion does matter. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help on your path.